my friends. Welcome to another episode of Deep True Crime. I'm Manny Rodriguez. Thank you for joining me again. We are continuing all the updates around Orsolya Gaal and her killer, David Bonola. He is the suspected handyman lover now charged in her murder. So we're going to be discussing who this guy is. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to listen to this press conference that they shared today. Then we're going to dive into it deeper into what was shared. So listen up.
Good morning, everybody. Chief James Essig, Chief of Detectives, New York City Police Department. With me here today is from Patrol Services Bureau, Chief Carlos Valdez from Queens North, the Commanding Officer to 112, Inspector Joe Kappelman, the Assistant Chief Joe Kenny, the Citywide Investigation Chief, Julie Morell, the Queens Investigation Chief, who led this investigation, Lieutenant Timmy Thompson from Queens North Homicide, the two case detectives, Detective Carmine Caruso from Queens North Homicide, and Detective John Benzoil from the 112 Precinct Detective Squad. So, good morning, everybody. Last night, while detectives were canvassing for video, they observed a male who was wanted for questioning in a horrendous homicide. He voluntarily came back to the 112 precinct and made incriminating statements. Today, that male, David Bonola, male, 44 years old, residing at 10418 114th Street in Queens, New York, is being charged with murder in the second degree, criminal tampering in the first degree, and criminal possession of a weapon in the fourth degree in relation to the death of Orsolya Gaal, female, 51 years old. This investigation is still preliminary. There is a lot of work left to do, but this is what I can tell you. On Friday night, April 15th, Miss Gaal attends a show at Lincoln Center. She takes the train back to her neighborhood in Forest Hills. At 11:20 p.m., she stops in a local establishment for a short while before returning home. We believe she returns home at 12:20 a.m. We also believe Mr. Bonola arrives at her residence between 12:30 and 12:40 a.m. Mr. Bonola is a handyman who was employed by Mrs. Gaal. They have been having an intimate affair for approximately 2 years. He is either let in voluntarily or he uses a key he has knowledge about hidden in the barbecue. A heated argument ensues between the two in the basement. A knife is brandished. A violent struggle ensues, resulting in our victim being stabbed ruthlessly and brutally in excess of 55 times, causing her demise. Recovered at that crime scene is a knife which we believe was used. Mr. Bonola then retrieved a hockey bag belonging to Miss Gaal's son, placed her in the bag, and as video showed, was seen rolling the body down the sidewalks, leaving a bloody trail through the streets of Forest Hills. At 7:50 a.m. Saturday, April 16th, that duffel bag was recovered at Metropolitan Avenue and the Jackie Robinson Parkway by a member of the public. We believe that after disposing of the body, Mr. Bonola fled through Forest Park, where investigators discovered the jacket believed to be worn by him during this vicious crime. Detectives also developed leads which led them to a location where boots, a T-shirt, and bloody bandages were discovered. Investigation also revealed that on Saturday, Mr. Bonola received treatment for wounds to both hands at an area hospital. As I said before, this case is still ongoing. We are still awaiting forensics evidence and are canvassing for more victim video as we speak. But detectives, through interviews, videos, and the public's help, and specifically the Queens DA, Melinda Katz, and her staff, who have been with us every step of the way, were able to quickly take this killer off the street. I just want to assure the public, and especially the residents of Forest Hills, that there are no outstanding suspects at this time. With that, I'd like to take any questions. At this time, he has no arrests that we know of.
Juliet, hold on, ma'am. Ma'am, hold on. Juliet.
Could you talk a little more about the nature of the relationship? Was this something that wasn't, was she rejecting him? Why were they getting into the argument at all?
This is Lieutenant Timmy Thompson from the Queens North Homicide Squad.
Good afternoon, everybody. We believe the relationship that Mr. Bonola had with our victim was an intimate type relationship, and this stemmed to be a domestic type dispute that they were having. Over their intimate relationship, they started to get into just regular domestic issues that seemed to occur between them.
Was he living at that house at any point in time, living in the basement?
At this time, not that we know of.
And also, do you happen to know, was this ongoing work that he was doing at the house to be there? Like, how often was he in?
He has been doing work at that residence for approximately 2 years on and off.
John.
Chief, did he confess? And did he say why he did it? Did he give a motive away?
Well, I mean, he made incriminating statements. We're not going to go into what he talked about. This is still under investigation. But we, working with the Queens District Attorney's Office, we have enough to arrest him and charge him with the murder.
Rocco.
Chief, were they breaking up, and what about the son upstairs? Was he alerted to this? Is that why he fled quickly with the duffel bag?
First question first. I'm sorry, you said, were they breaking up? They had been off and on, and they had broken up prior, but had reunited early in the month of April, and their relationship was considered at an end.
By her?
By her?
We don't have her statement, ma'am.
Can you talk a bit about the alleged text messages that came to her husband who was out of town? Did he indeed get a message, and was it threatening in nature?
A message was sent from the victim's cell phone to the husband. That message was, as previously reported, that there had been a crime in the past that was now that same person from the crime in the past was back again. We believe that to be completely false, as far as there was nothing to do with any crime in the past in this case. We have it from in the confession that he sent that message, and he has no burglary in the past.
I'm sorry, that the family, the rest of your family is in danger. That was the nature of the message. Do you understand? That the rest of the family was in danger?
That is the nature of the message.
Back here.
We don't believe there was any danger to the family.
Any information on why you dragged the body out and duffel bag to the fifth floor, like in such a sloppy manner? Talk about that at all? Was it because the son was upstairs at the point?
We believe he just didn't want it to be found by the family.
Right away.
The knife, did he bring the knife to the house, or was the knife in the home?
The knife is consistent with knives that are in the home.
Tony?
Detective Thompson, the relationship, there's a report that may have started while she went on an overseas trip and met the defendant overseas. Is there any truth to that?
So at this time, we don't believe that to be true.
Next one.
Chief, or maybe Miss Julie, do we know if the husband was aware of the relationship, if it's 2 years or more between his wife and your suspect?
We're not.
Mark?
Was the handyman, did the husband know the handyman? What does he know to the family?
Yes, he was.
Right here.
Hi, so I just wanted to clarify one thing you said. You said they were on and off, but they had united in April, but now it was at an end. So are we saying that they had broken up or that they were together?
As we stated earlier, on and off, and he came back this evening to speak about the relationship again.
Rocco?
Chief, the duffel bag in question, does he go into the son's room to get it? At any point, is the son woken up or aware of what's going on?
The duffel bag was not kept in the son's room.
So, and the son slept throughout? This is not an instance where the son...
There you have it. That's the press conference of David Bonola, and they shared a lot of what had happened that wasn't all quite in the news, but they're still keeping a lot under wraps because of it being an ongoing investigation. But what do we know so far? Well, David Bonola, suspected handyman lover, as they shared, was charged in Orsolya Gaal's murder. If you notice when they asked, did the husband know about him and their affair, he was known to the family. They weren't discussing whether the husband knew about the affair. And he confessed to this brutal slaying, which was traced through the blood-soaked boots that were left at the crime scene. Now David Bonola, 44 years old, taken into custody and charged with murder, criminal tampering, and criminal possession of a weapon over the brutal weekend stabbing. And multiple sources said that he was the handyman thought to have been her lover, and he quickly gave a full confession. And he was picked up thanks to those boots that were left at the crime scene in front of the garage. He admitted to having an argument before stabbing his one-time lover near 60 times and carting her body away in a borrowed hockey bag. He admitted to having an argument before stabbing her close to 60 times and carting her body off in a giant hockey bag. And the police, they were waiting for him outside his Jamaica home, as you can see right here, where the police were out there waiting for him to return. You can see the picture of a cop in the front. You can see the picture of the cops in the back. They were waiting for him to return. Now, a Facebook account under his name previously commented on some of Gaal's photos, as well as sending her public messages of love and heart emojis. In one post, he commented, "Es la mujer más hermosa," which is Spanish for "she is the most beautiful woman." And he wrote this alongside one photo of hers in May of 2020. In one screenshot that was posted in May, he commented, "Your eyes in love." He wrote this in Spanish. And this was while she was posing during a Zoom party with friends. That same month, in May of 2020, he also posted a heart and a simple hola to a childhood photo of Gaal. One she posted was sandwiched between two gushing tributes to her husband with photos from their wedding day. As you can see, a photo of them when they got married. And they've been married for over 20 years. One of these Facebook accounts that he used, it suggests that he was a script writer, and he also sent a heart to a photo Gaal posted in October of 2019 of her in a field. And Orsolya, she gave a thumbs up to his comment each time. And of both of his accounts, none of them looked like they were Facebook friends with Orsolya Gaal. So it didn't even look like they were Facebook friends anytime recently. I don't know if they were at one time, maybe. And so what we do know is that she went out to a show at Lincoln Center with friends on Friday evening, as you heard, press conference as well. And then she went to hang out at a bar in the neighborhood, as if expecting to meet someone who never showed up. And once she got home, that's why they believe that he might have already been there. And then that's when the argument ensued. And then that's when he lost his emotions. That's when he lost it all about that. And as all along, the police suspected that the killer knew her, since there were no signs of a break-in, and because the violence suggested it was personal and fueled by anger specifically toward her. Stabbing her 58 times, there's a lot of anger involved there. And so the police, they focused on the handyman, understanding that he had a romantic relationship with her that went south. And he confessed that he struck after an argument ensued between the two of them. Now, her 13-year-old son was upstairs, I believe, asleep in the house at the time that his mom was brutally murdered downstairs below him. And he was briefly taken to a precinct for questioning, saying he did not know where his mom was. And her husband, Howard Klein, he was in Oregon with their 17-year-old son visiting colleges at the time. And come to find out that these text messages that the husband had received was definitely fake, and it was meant to throw authorities off. So what we do know so far is David Bonola, Handyman, Orsolya Gaal's off and on lover, confessed to killing her during an argument in the basement of her Queens home. David worked as a handyman and lived near her home. This is an image of Bonola walking down the street with a face mask on and bandages on his hand. After this murder, as you heard in the press conference, he did go to a local hospital and had some work done because of his wounds from stabbing her 58 times. Well, there you have it. They have the killer. We know who he is. We know why he did it. And now we wait to see, will he confess and just say guilty? He hasn't had his first court date, obviously. That is probably right around the corner. But you know, I will do my best to keep you updated. My friends, thank you for joining me as we continue the coverage of Orsolya Gaal. Have a great day. Peace.